So I'm going to just go back and forth. So some students are sitting quietly ready for mini lessons. Others are chatting instead of listening. How could you, Lane, properly get the attention of the students?
Who are talking?
That are talking in so like there's a handful of kids that are talking, but then there's a handful that are not. How could you get their attention?
I always in Elkhorn, we would do go ahead and give me 5, and then if they didn't do it right away, they can go 4, 3, and then they start to catch on because they see everybody else doing the hand signals. So it's about using like what's the called when you do like physical like something paired with it, not just like listening to the teacher, but if they're accountable for like them putting up their hand signals, they each are accountable for it. So that was kind of my go-to. But I agree. I think it's hard to do that when half the class is like that. I'm still learning ways to like go to different ways, not just the 5, 4, 3. So counting down. So
and in the book, it actually gave the blunt answer of saying like, John, everybody, we need to get moving. Yeah. And I don't think I quite necessarily agreed with the way that the book stated it.
No.
And this is where I love the way that John's sitting so quietly. Jack's ready to go. Lane's ready to work.
Right.
But that's not the way.
No.
So
I think an alternative they also gave, because I always do the positive reinforcement thing. Like, looks like Amy's ready to go. But I think an alternative, in addition to the one that we didn't really vibe with, was like, it looks like half the class is ready. So it's not like specifically singling out like a group of students that might feel awkward for like being ready. I mean, at first grade level, they still feel super cool to be ready.
Right.
Like 5th graders probably not.
Like 3rd graders, they're like, okay, well, it's like I'm ready, but I'm not.
I'm ready, but what now?
Yeah. So
I agree. I totally agree with that. I like the way that you. See, I even still just use it right there, but
I like that.
I like the way that you said that you could use half the class versus single names. And the book talked a lot about using names as only a positive, not a negative, but we'll talk about that when we hit chapter 4. So the next one, it says, so Monica, this one's for you. The class is playing math games in small groups of 4. Several groups are focused, but a few of them are not. You're working at the guided table, so you don't really want to
can't move around.
Don't really want to get up, but you could.
Do you want them to know you're still watching?
Well, if I was at the guided table and I'm gonna give 2 answers.
That's fine.
If I could have the opportunity, like if the kids that I was working with like would have like 2 minutes to like independently work, and I could like zoom away for a second, I would go to each individual and like repeat the expectation for them. If not, I'm thinking through, like, when I was doing teaching, I probably would get the whole class's attention and then just ask questions about the expectation and then have the groups reflect individually. I did this a lot when I was doing teaching, like, okay, so we just talked through the expectations that you should be, like, focused on your work and working on this worksheet, and I want you to reflect with your group if, like, that's what you're doing. And then,
ooh, I like that.
So I think that's probably the roadmap that I would take. I know in the book it talked about like going to each individual group, but like the scenario you just gave, like as teachers we're one human and we can't always be 5 places at once, even though we're kind of expected to be. But so I would probably go with that reflective piece because I think personal reflection is.
I enjoyed that a lot. Oh, thanks. Okay, all right, Lane. You want 4 to 5 students to share out ideas about their writing prompt. So, how would you get them to share without saying like?
One of the examples in the book was like, who has a super fun, creative thing that they want to share, but it's like, what if there's just not super fun, creative, and they think like, oh, it has to be super good or else the teacher's not gonna like it. So it was like, does anyone have an idea? Just making it more broad. Does anyone have an idea? And what I'd like to do to just get student involvement is do that turn and talk where they could share it first with their group at their